Somewhere near the coast in the New England wasteland, there's a trading post no one dares attack and nobody really understands. A place where a goblin bard tunes his magic piano, a violet skin protector sharpens her blades, a giant troll brews secrets, and a black mage tracks a stolen memory. Today we're telling their story and building it in miniature. Hey, welcome back everybody. I hope you've had a good week, and I hope you're in the mood for a story. So I started this project with this foam square, and I attached some cork to it. I thought this was going to be more of a parking lot type of place, but in the end, it's not even really visible. Even though it's not visible, I still think it was worthwhile because the satisfaction of gluing this all together was probably a 7.5 out of a 10. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe even a higher score because right now, all I can think about is when can I do it again? And that brings us to this. You know it. You love to see it. Somebody cutting up the pink foam and cobbling it together into some sort of creation. Over the next minute or so, I'm going to just be cutting this up, carving into it, and creating some sort of building structure out of it. I know I said there would be a story, so instead of narrating it piece by piece while I get this started here, I will go ahead and tell you the first part of Tollymon's trading post. There are places in the wastes that refuse to fall, not because they're strong, not because they're sacred, but because the world itself forgets how to destroy them. Tollymon's trading post is one of those places. Northeast of Boston, near the battered seacoast, it sits surrounded by 100 miles of dangerous wasteland. Roads leading there are cracked bones of old highways, littered with rusted shells and weather-bleached billboards. Beyond the city's flickering lights, the world is a lawless hush. Most avoid these paths altogether. The ones who travel them do so hidden or in armored convoys, praying to slip by unseen. Yet, in that emptiness stands a place needing no guards, a single-story brick building, unassuming and plain. It might have been a hardware store once. Now it stands alone, quiet and somehow safe. The air around it feels like a held breath, a silence even the wastes dare not disturb. Hanosh arrived first that day, his red leather shoes tapping over broken asphalt like a private drum roll. A goblin bard by talent and by soul. He wore a black suit, his sunglasses smudged from travel, compact, restless, and alive in a way that felt like defiance. He carried no guitar or lute. Hanosh was known for his magic piano, a relic living inside a battered leather pouch no bigger than a satchel. When summoned, it appeared whole, lacquered, rune-carved, humming with soft energy. A gift from Norn, who once found it in a magic user's vault far west and convinced its owner to part with it. Hanosh didn't just play it, he coaxed worlds out of it, drawing crowds from as far as the old Sea Edge clubs in Seattle. Trailing closely behind was Liza, violet-skinned and sharp-eyed. She wore punk rock clothes, black leather patches with red logos and metal studs. Her white mohawk stood defiant in the wind. Overbearing to some, she hovered close to Hanosh like a second shadow, a protector, a knife edge waiting to strike. If you earned her loyalty, it was forever. They stepped beneath the awning. There sat Winslow, a troll large even by troll standards. His green skin was thick and weathered. His blue jeans were dust-worn. Black shirt stretched across a wide frame. His old sneakers looked ready to crumble beside him. 3 maroon barrels hissed softly, his desert Dr. Pepper as he called it, a brew strong enough to make a corpse dance. So at this point, we have our basic building put together. I've got a little sidewalk in here, and I've put some molding and a gutter system on. The molding I just made with coffee stirrers, and the white square gutter that I put on is just a styrene rod. At this point, I really did go a little sand crazy, and even at the time of editing, right now, I'm still finding it in my underwear. But I do think, overall, it's going to be worth it for the texture that it provides. Here, I'm just adding some extra flair in the form of cardstock cutouts and some kind of stone over the door to give it a little bit of character. I then went ahead and used this knife with a +2 against foam and foam-like substances to add some cracks to the sidewalk here. I also found this really cool old compass. It has a nice spike on the end of it. It works really well for emphasizing the cracks after I've cut them with the knife. I also started making the front door out of the same materials I've been using all along, but I did it mostly off camera because I want my privacy. Since there's a lot of sand, I am going to seal it with one of my favorite brews, not Desert Dr. Pepper, but a mix of wood glue, craft paint, and water. After I prime it up, I will start painting. While I'm painting, I'll tell you part 2 of Tollymon's trading post. Winslow didn't look up right away. Afternoon, he rumbled at last. Hanosh tipped his glasses. Depends on who's asking. Liza dropped her pack with a thud, eyes sweeping the horizon. Winslow cracked one eye. Still watching his back, huh? He's impossible, she replied. But worth it. Hanosh grinned. She cares about me more than she says. The sun dipped, painting the sky in bruised violet. Then a tall shape approached. Norn. Wrapped in dark layers, his coat swept the dust. His staff, capped with a skull, and a softly growing green orb tapped the ground. A crow perched on his shoulder, eyes glinting like whetstones. "You're late," Hanosh called. "You're loud," Norn answered, folding beside the fire ring. His voice always carried an edge, rough and serious, as if each word cost him something. He pretended not to care, but they all knew better. They sat by the fire, each with a battered mug of Winslow's brew. The flames popped and cracked, throwing shadows up the brick wall. "You really going north again?" Winslow asked. Hanosh stretched. "I'm calling it Hanosh across the broken spine. Might hit the lakes, maybe even Seattle if the bridges still hold. If not, I guess I'll learn to swim with the piano." "With that cursed thing?" Liza snorted. Hanosh patted the pouch. "Can't leave it behind." He reached into the satchel, pulling out a sliver of polished wood. The piano thrummed softly, like a held breath. Winslow shook his head. "You're mad." "He is," Norn said, "but it chose him." Liza narrowed her eyes. "One day that thing's gonna swallow you whole." Hanosh just winked. "Then I'll play from the inside." Winslow leaned forward. "Had a crew through here last week. Said they found a pool out west near Tacoma. Water stank like metal. Something floated in there." Liza stiffened. "What kind of something?" "Big. One eye in the middle of its jellyfish-looking head. Many tendrils or tentacles that it floated on in the air. Didn't speak, but it got into their heads. Told them to leave." "Sounds like an oculoth," Norn murmured. "Rare to hear about one so close to the city." "I heard about one near Seattle," Hanosh said. "I wonder if it's the same one." Liza scoffed and rolled her eyes. "They didn't see anything else." "They didn't get the chance," Winslow replied. "One stepped forward and just dropped, ignoring its warning. They all heard it in their heads. No sound, nothing." "Was it guarding something?" Norn asked. Winslow nodded. "Probably. I don't know. They told me they left everything there. They were heading to the city." Silence eventually swallowed them. The fire crackled like a distant storm. Norn shifted. "You might find this interesting, Hanosh," he said. Voice low, being something of a bard yourself. Hanosh looked over, curious. "I'm searching for a relic," Norn continued. "A violin. Very old. Belonged to Sayre Bavine." Liza's eyes widened. "The Sayre Bavine?" Hanosh grinned. "Heard she made a raider weep into his helmet once." Norn's expression darkened. "The violin isn't just an instrument. It holds memory. It was stolen during a bad trade. My order tracked it west. I'm going to follow the trail and find it." "Any idea who has it?" Winslow asked. Norn shook his head. "Not yet." Then, a slow, loud creak from the door to Tollymon's trading post. And welcome back. We're just about finished up here on the paint job. I used cheap craft paints and some army painter wash for all of it. If you think I'm doing a pretty good job, please drop a like. It'll help me out. And if you're enjoying the story and you want to hear more like these, go ahead and subscribe. I don't really care about the bell icon. I don't really ever click it either. Now it's time to get into painting our miniatures. I think overall, my favorite is Winslow the Troll, mostly because he was the first character I thought of for Tollymons, and also because I created him myself in Blender. Hanosh and Liza are based on people I know in real life. Hanosh is the type of person that might show up at your house and just produce a rolled-up piano from inside his sleeve, which has happened to me on many occasions. Liza is the type of person that everything has to be her way or the highway. And finally, Norn is the type of guy who wishes that he was bad, but at the same time, he can't help but be good. I'm just going to be finishing up here. I'm going to paint these characters, and I'm going to go ahead and place them where they belong. I will also go ahead and put some grass tufts all around the area, and that should do it. While I'm doing this, I'll tell you the conclusion of Tollymon's trading post. A hooded figure stepped from the brick building. Tall, silent, fabric heavy, unmoving even in the breeze. The figure paused, as if listening to something distant, then slipped back inside. The door closed with a soft final click. They didn't watch, didn't ask. They knew already. Tollymon had passed through. The fire burned lower. They each shifted, settling deeper into their blankets and old coats. Hanosh muttered something about needing new shoes before they went any further north. Liza warned him to keep his head down and not trade them for tickets again. Norn gave a rare smirk, shaking his head. Winslow suggested they all stay one more day, let the quiet soak in before they headed back into the chaos. They agreed without debate. The horizon glowed faintly as the last embers flickered. One by one, they drifted off under the stars, the soft sounds of the wastes whispering beyond Tollymon's protective hush. Morning rose, soft and slow. Beside the ash pit sat a folding table. Coffee, bread, roasted roots, real eggs. No footprints, no sound. Just breakfast. They gathered, warmth pulling them in like gravity. One of these days I'll catch him, Hanosh mumbled. No you won't, Winslow replied. Liza snorted. Not unless he wants to be caught. They clinked mugs as dawn spilled gold over the cracked road. Outside, the wastes waited, endless and patient. But here, under the quiet watch of an old, unassuming brick building, 4 travelers shared a meal. And just for a while, thanks to the sanctity of Tollymon's trading post, they were whole again. All right, that's going to wrap it up for Tollymon's trading post. I hope you had a good time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more stuff like this. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.